Well, hey, how are you? Happy Tuesday. I hope I have that day right. I've had trouble losing track because of being quarantined. But I just wanted to say hi and talk about this topic today, diving beneath the surface. And what am I talking about to find your purpose? Well, what's interesting is sometimes we have what we call hardcore beliefs about ourselves. And watch yesterday's video you can watch it afterwards, but watch yesterday's video, okay? We have these long-held beliefs about ourselves. Maybe they were imposed on us by other people. Maybe other people cement them here in our heads and in our hearts about ourselves. One that was said to me was that I never finish anything. And let me tell you what that was regarding. That was regarding a knitting project, and I really don't like to knit. I have crocheted in the past, but I didn't like to knit. And I did get very far with the project for a blanket for my doll. But that's what that was initially based on, and the fact that I quit piano lessons after 2 years. I love the piano, I love listening to it, I love fiddling around with it, but I was not going to be a concert pianist, okay? And I really don't like playing classical music. I like classical music, but I rarely listen to it. I like opera, and that entails classical music, but not playing the piano and doing it on the piano. Nope. So because of those two things, a label was smacked on that, well, you don't like to finish things. So I spent some time overcoming that. I had that long-held belief that I was like this label that was put on me. When it wasn't true. I was finishing things all the time. Every day I finished my homework. Every time a project was assigned, I finished it. So I had to start looking at the things I really did finish, and that was an unfair label, but those are sometimes a belief that you've held for quite a while about yourself when it's not really true, and those two collide. And you have to be faced with that and understand what is the real truth here. I mean, if there's something that you need to shape up about yourself, sure. But sometimes it's what other people say and do, and then we are stuck and we can't move forward. And we have to dive beneath the surface of that label or that thought that we have, or thoughts about ourselves, that we can't overcome something. We can't get unstuck. And people that do therapy and that type of thing, they like to call those diving beneath the surface. You might see the tip of the iceberg, but there's a whole bunch underneath. Yeah, it's tackling what is really causing this and pulling it apart. I had to look at that and remember that someone in my family, my mom, put that label on me, and I had to go, boom, throw it out, because it wasn't true. But it's a type of thing that can get into your brain like a worm, and in your heart, and just keep you stuck, that you're not smart enough, you're not capable enough, there's no hope for you, that type of stuff, which is nonsense, because God has a plan and a purpose for every single one. So that's false if anybody tries to smack the label on. Okay, so rip the label off, throw it in the trash, start fresh. You don't have to be stuck. I fight procrastination all the time. It is one of my weaknesses. And I had a conversation with my soon-to-be 19-year-old grandson about this several months ago. And I said, do you struggle with this? He goes, yep. And he has to push himself to finish. He does virtual school, and he has to finish senior year. And he has just a couple classes left. So he's got to push. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel for you too. And just because of the coronavirus, this career isn't going in the dumper. Okay? This career is not going anywhere. Already, attorneys are advertising on TV because, as I said in the video I did, which if you're on my email list, you know that you're in the Paralegal Subscriber Hub. If you're not on the email list, go to my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and get the 19 alternative paralegal careers list, or both, the free chapter of my book, and you'll be on the email list. And then you'll be able to, when I send my next email, pointing to a video that I've just done, you will be able to go see that other video called 4 Hot Areas of Law to Focus On and why those are hot. Okay, so just get on the email list, you'll see what I mean. You have to dive beneath the surface in order to figure out what is keeping you stuck. What is causing the procrastination? What is causing the fear? As I said in a graphic I posted below, with the girl standing on a rock with a cape. Yeah, that's you. Or put a guy there if you're a guy watching this. We gotta let fear's gonna be with us. So but put it in the back and let courage lead you forward, and kick fear to the curb. It never totally leaves. You know, it kind of keeps us on edge, which sometimes is a good thing. Hi, Bridget, good to see you. Hi, everybody that's here with me live right now. Say hello if you feel like it. So these beliefs that keep us stuck, that keep us in procrastination mode, that keep us, loaded down with fear, are called iceberg beliefs. There's a lot more under the surface. You got to dissect that. Dive underneath, figure it out, and understand that God has a huge plan for you. Okay? So none of that is going to stop you unless you let it. So let's talk about some of these things to help you get unstuck. Identify where you are stuck. What is it that is bogging you down? Number 1. Number 2, clarify that core issue that has you stuck. Hi, Vic. How are you? Hi, Linda. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate you being here. What is that? Number 2 is, what is that core belief about yourself? Hey, Sophia, that is keeping you bogged down. What is it? It's almost like I said the other day in a video, we're dragging this around behind us in a red wagon. We can let that wagon go. We can let it go. Number 3, ask a question to peel back that layer as to your why. Why are you believing that? Is it based on anything substantial? What go back to the recesses here and dig deep and find out, why are you believing that core? Why do you have that core belief about yourself? Number 4, drill down, and we use that term in the legal field, drilling down, meaning we're trying to get to the answer. I was asked one time to look through a notebook of papers that the people on the other side of our case, the opposite side, had to provide to us. And my attorney said, see if you can find something that they might have left and didn't they use a black magic marker and will cross out things that they're allowed to cross out. And so he said to me, drill down and see what you can find. I needed to find those answers that would help us. That's what you're doing. Number 4, that's you're drilling down to see what's underneath the surface. Okay, as to What is causing that? It's not time to be an ostrich with the head in the sand, because that doesn't solve anything. Now it's time to face it. Now, I come from a family that swept things under the rug constantly, that would try to be the ostrich and try to hide things. That's what I learned to do. And then I married somebody that his family did not do that. They talked it out. So I had to dig down deep and learn how to communicate that way and be more open. But we were not open in my family, okay? It's like you're bound up and can't communicate. It's not a healthy thing. And so I had to learn to manage my anger so that I talked it out instead of holding it in. See, there's more beneath the surface, right? So how are you doing that? Because that will play into how you work, or has already played into how you work. That if you have a temper, you've got to control it, control the mouth, you know, and the attitude. Number 5, choose whether to hold on to what's happening beneath the surface or dispense with it and be done with it. That's number 5. Let it go. And yeah, I know, easier said than done, but it's a constant battle. And as long as you're trying to change that, melt down those issues and change it, then that will serve you well when you go into the legal field. Because we don't need to bring that baggage with us into a career, if at all possible, and leave the negativity behind, because we've got a lot to focus on and new things to learn, and we don't have time for unbelief, because we are the detectives. We are the problem solvers. So we need to solve our own issues as well. And there's nothing wrong with getting therapy for that. Nothing wrong with that at all, to work through those issues. But I knew that I had to, at age 37, finally had a talk with my mother and got all this out on the table. It made the relationship better. Now, in other ways, for somebody else, it might not make the relationship better. But I had to take that chance to solve some of this nonsense. So, and it was a great relief, right? All right, so it's funny how this plays into the legal field, because I've been in the office and I had to get a lot of questions answered. A client had to answer a lot of questions that they had a document they had to fill out, but they left a lot of things blank. So I got them on the phone and I started asking questions very kindly, nicely, you know, just like a mom attitude. I was trying to be warm to this client. He was a young guy, and I was old enough to be his mother. And then a confession came out of what the truth was. And I'm sure he felt unburdened by letting it go. He had to finally tell the truth, because he was going to go to a hearing where he would be grilled on the stand by two other attorneys and a non-attorney to get out the truth of the matter. And it would come out, because they were seasoned professionals at this. And I was just questioning him and re-questioning him. And I would get a different answer on some things. And so then I would go back to that, which is what attorneys do. And so we have to, are we getting to the root of the matter for the thing that's holding us back or bogging us down? You will find that with your clients sometimes when you have to get answers to things. And it could be for almost any area of law. And that's what we call intake document, or intake, when we ask them questions and we're trying to see what the real story is. And sometimes they make it very fancy and perfect when it's not even close to that. because they're uncomfortable in looking at what the truth is. Well, I had to face what my truth was about procrastination. When I was young, I had to face the truth about lying all the time, because that was self-protection for me. And so what is it that are those things that are underneath the surface for you? And they will keep us stuck in one way or another. And they will keep us from moving forward. It'll be, well, I'm gonna watch all your 355 videos on YouTube, Leslie, before I make a move. No, you can make a move while you're watching videos. See? But what happens is fear can go, okay, stop. And that's what you have to recognize. Because when we're on the job, even if we're fearful, we've got to keep moving forward and find the answers. We don't have any time to wallow in the fear. We have to just get the answer for the attorney and learn how to do something new if that's the case. And we can't sit there going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We have to attack it. That's the mindset shift that has to occur. So how will you decide to either adjust or let it go entirely? That's the question at the end. You know, how will you do that? All it is a decision. It's a decision. And I will bring this up in many videos. Somebody said to me, but you don't know, this is really scary. I do know. I know firsthand how scary it is. Every time I moved to a different area of law and went with another attorney, that was scary. First day of work, very scary. Even though I was bringing experience with me, it was scary. The first job was scary. You know, and I thought, boy, if I don't like this, what will happen? Nothing. You know, for me it was, I had no investment, only my time. So I wasn't going to lose anything but effort, and that was worth it. So keep moving forward. Your effort will be rewarded. By whom? By Him. So keep going forward in believing and trusting that He has your back and that He's going to bless your efforts. Why? Because He has a plan and a purpose for you individually. Each one of you watching and everybody watching on replay. There isn't one person that He doesn't have a plan and a purpose for. It's up to us to discover what on earth that is. And that's the beautiful part. That's the beginning part that's beautiful. Even though it will feel frustrating at times, it's the discovery process. So you discover a lot of things about yourself, some negative, some positive. Some negative that, well, I'm letting things bog me down. Yeah. And then you make a decision to change that. And how will you change it? Well, you're going to have a list of things you need to do to get better at what you want to do. So start working down that list. Is it software you have to get better at? You know, you can't memorize all of legal terminology, but you can learn what a plaintiff and defendant is and what a pleading is. You know, get that legal terminology bar chart from Amazon that I show on my website. Go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com, click on bar charts and check that out. Get the legal terminology one. Don't think you have to memorize it. You just carry it with you. Pretty soon, when you're working in the legal field, it all sinks in your brain. It does. It has a way of worming inside your head, and you'll be speaking legalese before you know it. So don't think that this is above you. Everybody who's gone in this career had to work hard to rise up. And anybody who says any differently is, you know, clueless or just trying to be a con artist. So understand that everybody had to overcome barriers. Every single human that went into this career or is in it right now and is trying to get into it is facing the same thing as you are. So you're not alone. Yeah, master your skill, right, Bridget? Thanks, Vic. Yeah, master your skills. So now, before everything opens up and goes bonkers, and I mean this job category, is the time to master skills. Doesn't mean perfection. Does not mean perfection. It means do your best. Keep learning new things. Pat yourself on the back for every new thing you're learning. Keep a running tab of what you're learning. I want you to look at it. I want you to look at it and go, great job. Okay? You need to do that. That when I would be feeling low, I would say, gosh, look at how far I've come though. Keep doing that. Don't give up. And understand that this field, the paralegal field, is open to people who have an education and people who don't. But you have to put a lot of effort in, and you do have to have some type of office skills, okay? But get those skill sets nailed down that, especially I would say Microsoft Word, basic and advanced. That doesn't mean you have to go spend money on a class. Use YouTube for that and track what you know. That, when you know basic and advanced skills, you need to put that on your resume, and don't put it on unless you do, because they may ask you to explain that. Who's they? The interviewer, okay? So be sure to learn, but really understand it. And when you do advanced skills, which is merging, table of contents, table of authorities, and there are other advanced skills. Learn all you can. You don't have to be perfect, but it's better to learn it now, because doing it on the job, there's no time. There's no time for that. There's no hour in the day where you can sit and practice. So that's why I tell you to do it ahead of time. Okay? If that's where you're deficient, and I was deficient in Word. We were using WordPerfect for several years in the law field. And then my law firm wanted to switch to Word, and we had to bring a trainer in, as I think I said yesterday. And I was very insecure about it. Really insecure for a few years. I just had to keep plunking away and add the different features until I understood it better than I did, and put some time in to understand it. Okay? Well, guys, thank you so much for being here today, and for commenting. You know, this is not above you. This is not above you. You're up for it. You just have to, if you don't believe that, start believing it today. Just change your mindset and then start working towards it. Keep going forward and learning all you can about those areas of law you're interested in. You can do it. I was never a pro at Excel, Vic. I know basic Excel. Some people use it. You know, it's not really using it to track deadlines. It's using it because it's really not made for that. Calendars are used for that. But sometimes people will use it when they have to track documents and things. And I've seen some incredible things done on Excel by other paralegals. But no, it's not something that's, you know, utilized by every paralegal. But I would learn beginning Excel, like how do you change the header? How do you put a title on there? And as far as me knowing formulas, nope. My husband is a pro at it. because he's a retired chemical engineer, and they used that for calculations, which it's great for. But in the legal field, some people use it a lot and others do not, and it's not really been a huge requirement, but it's good if you know basic. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Excel. It's not although it's pretty cool to learn how to move columns around and to take simple numbers and see if you can put the formula in, just to do basic and find a class on YouTube and do basic Excel, because you can add it to your resume that you know basic. But I wouldn't worry about that it's used extensively, because that's not been my experience. And some and law firms don't have the same software from law firm to law firm. They do with Microsoft Word, but they use like different software for different things, for managing documents and things. And it's all across the board. It's not like the law firms all use the same thing, but it doesn't hurt to learn beginning Excel and to learn beginning PowerPoint, because some attorneys, like if they ever do presentations outside of the law firm, I've been known to do a simple presentation on PowerPoint, and I'm not a PowerPoint expert by any stretch. I'm not. I mean, PowerPoint can really, you can make PowerPoint jump through hoops. It's very powerful. But, yeah, no, but beginning, and the more, when you think of like, well, yeah, that's a Microsoft product, I could add that on my resume. I'll go through a class, I'll play with PowerPoint if you have it on your computer, and then try it, and if you think, well, yeah, I've got that nailed, that was easy, and then just put it on your resume, and now you've got another, like, speaking of feathers, feather in your cap. And so it's not a negative, but I don't, for the most part, unless they do presentations, I don't think they're going to use PowerPoint. And Excel is like, it depends. Sometimes paralegals come in with a lot of experience and they tweak and use Excel for their own purposes, but I found Microsoft Word more valuable for that type of thing. Oh, that's cool, Bridget. Yeah, but I don't remember the YouTube channel, but there's a guy that does some great Microsoft Word videos. One channel sounds really too robotic, but the other is a guy talking, and I think he does a great job. So I looked on there for my students to recommend somebody, but this was a while back, so I don't remember his channel. But it's easy to find. It's just, I would search for one that you can easily learn from. That's a good teacher, for sure. And they're free on there. So, yeah, but a lot of people offer free classes. There's no reason to pay for that, unless you think you need a certificate. But it's not bad to get a certificate in Word, but it's not like that's going to be a deal breaker if you don't have it. It won't be. But then you have to make sure you know how to do that stuff, the basic and advanced skills. I put it down on the resume, but like I said, when you put advanced skills down, make sure you really know how to do it. Because it's not fake it till you make it. It's, know how to do it. Because you may be questioned in the interview about it. And that's good to go, oh yeah, I took some classes on the web, and and if they happen to offer a certificate, that would be great, but it's not necessary, okay? Yeah, and some people, I'll tell you, WordPerfect ran circles around Word in certain areas. It was hard to make that transition for those of us coming from WordPerfect to Word, because WordPerfect was created for it was very, it was a good tool for the legal field. It had a legal dictionary built right in it. So that was the upside of WordPerfect. And page numbering and that type of thing, so simple. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging with me today. Any questions or comments, post them. And it could be in a separate post, whatever. And that's it. So have a great evening, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye. Bye, guys.